Good evening. I'm Stanley Pacion. I have a poem here that I call Mood a Subjunctive. It's a poem that I've read before, but I've re-edited it as sort of a second version of the same poem. And briefly, mood subjunctive means it's a term of grammar. It refers to something that is not real, that is contingent, that is hypothetical, that has not come into fruition or only has the possibility of coming about. It's something that has to do with dream wish. It's a term that's used an awful lot in Latin and Greek, and also our Spanish neighbors, our Spanish-speaking neighbors use it quite frequently. It's quite frequently a grammatical thing in the Spanish language. So with that, let's do it. Mood subjunctive. Don't get me wrong. Should I appear distracted, look knocked out by the light, you make a very strong performance. A singularity round whose axis my mind spins. I remember once, years ago, when I landed in New York, after living a year and a half in Europe, how the neon of America seemed so awesomely garish and bright. Yet when I close my eyes and picture it, all seems pale before the radiance of your face. Two people may meet for morning breakfast. Look out the cafe's window at the steady rain. Walk here and there along the avenues of inviting storefronts, and before the day is over, fall into hopeless passion, one for the other, as though there be something in the air, perhaps some electromagnetic charge, so the occasional electricity might overwhelm us. Or Cupid steals behind fixtures of the thoroughfares. That day, I spied him couched near a mailbox when we began to walk the main street in Point Pleasant. The winged child pulls from his quiver arrows. They drip wet with potion. Once he aims and shoots them, grievously they tear mortal flesh, making for ruckus extraordinaire. And expectations suddenly become great. This romance, now so hard upon me, this love I must ardently profess, is, if you please, couched subjunctive, a mood, a posture of grammar I assume so to temper my overwrought affection, and quiet the immodest verse and elevated parlance. It provides relief for my assuming prophetic mantle, the all too far out attitude, the conceit whose command animates this verse. And were I not to employ this principle of language, one might believe that I be shameless. Understand, I solely express my own wish and desire. All I say remains contingent of a mind still hypothetical and dependent. I do not use the imperative. I make no demand. I have no special outcome in mind. I live in a fortress called Zion, and come from it in the pilgrim's coat and hat. I look in the mirror and see their collar and tie, and, like those passengers on board the Mayflower, I know the Lord to be my helper. I fear not. Who among your former friends has ever said it better? And were you to live long and hearty life, as all the actuaries predict, what friend might ever say it better? And should you for a moment consider this lyric arrived transcending everyday concerns that adjoin sentiment supreme, him, the real pilot, when we drove in the white Ford van and crossed Jersey North Shore highways while the brown, oh, that magic, gentle, dreamlike, living, pale, ethereal, and somewhat golden light accented the downpours, whose constant, unleashed fallings seemed more like storm the Lord had promised Noah than any explicable temporary weather. Wie es eigentlich gewesen war, The carriage held but just us and immortality. And since we drove around together, though it is months ago, it feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the engine mounts were tied to point, and we too were belted, hurled straight ahead in covenant with eternity. Thank you very much. I'm Stanley Pacion. That was a poem called Mood Subjunctive. I truly hope you enjoyed it. I wish you good evening. Good evening.